Evaluation of tourism.
The history of tourism is a long one. Whilst we may not always have had high-speed trains, aircraft, and luxurious cruise ships, people have long had the desire to be tourists. The history of tourism can largely be attributed to technological developments in transport, which are the more roads that are built, which means the more places people can drive, and the more airports that open, which means the more places that people can fly to. Tourism is also closely related to the global economic, social, and political outlook. We people from very old times have always had a need to travel and discover new lands for our own enjoyment, and that is why tourism industry has grown this big. But the craze of traveling did not just magically appear out of nowhere. The need for traveling has been going on for many centuries now. To understand this more clearly, we have to turn the calendars and go back to the 17th century when young nobles from Western and Northern European countries made what was called the Grand Tour. It was a trip around Europe with main purpose of soaking up history, art, cultural heritage. It was considered the perfect way to be educated. By the time of 18th century, this custom was widespread among the wealthier classes, and it spread to other parts of the world, such as America. Similarly, religious pilgrimages that were already popular during the Middle Ages continued during this period. Then the Industrial Revolution, which began in the second half of the 18th century, produced a major social and technological transformation that would spread to the rest of the world. As a result of these changes, there was an exodus from rural regions to growing big cities, which needed labor for the new industry. People only traveled by trains, taking advantage of the fact that railway networks connected the destinations in Europe and the other parts of the world. Then, after all the improvement, the 19th century saw the creation of the first travel agencies. One of the pioneers was Thomas Cook and Son, which was the first to offer excursions and holiday for groups, which include transport, accommodation, food, and tickets, thus making costs cheaper. This would be the origin of what we saw today as package holidays. The tourism industry suffered a recession during the 1970s, mainly due to the energy crisis, leading to lower costs and prices. That's when mass tourism emerged. Traveling went from being something only for an exclusive group to becoming a leisure activity within the reach of many. Then finally, by the beginning of the 20th century, modern tourism was already born, understanding it as an industry. This means the existence of a market. Some agents involve the institutions and incipient tourism policies. The main reason the tourism industry has grown this big today is due to foreign tourists. It became a traditional phenomenon which included an exchange of people, ideas, and techniques. Just when the tourism industry was going really strong throughout the 20th and 21st century, the 2020 pandemic, due to the COVID-19 virus, took place, and quickly it spread through the entire world. It was a big sword to the tourism industry. Tourism industry was majorly economically and socially affected worldwide. It took a long time to get everything started again. After the world slowly started to come back on its track, people started traveling with all the safety measures, due to some countries still being closed off. People started counting tourism industry as leisure or entertainment again. It also made a positive impact on society, like tourists were traveling sustainably and keeping nature harmless. People were also traveling domestic place more than foreign places due to international travel being temporarily closed off. This led to people learning more about their home countries. Modern tourism has also given birth to many other types of tourism. For example, polar tourism, in which people attracted to the adventurous cold regions such as Arctic and Antarctic regions travel to experience the amazing weather, wildlife, and much more. Then comes dark tourism, in which people who have a knack for visiting the historic places, or may say terrifying historic places, where people visit the ancient battlegrounds, places of violent homicides, or any other places where a large number of people lost their lives, like natural tragedy of Pompeii, or one can see corpses of the victims. Creepy. Okay, now comes the one tourism types, which everyone would love, that is culinary tourism, in which people visit other countries to try different types of food. As the technological advancement increases, the tourism industry will keep growing and attract more tourists. Who knows? Maybe one day you might be watching this video in space. Thank you for watching.